So Don Lemon still, bizarrely, claims that he's an objective news reporter, which is just, I mean, you have to be an insane person to believe this. You have to have been dropped on your head as a baby, not one time, but like repeatedly and from a great height and with force in order to believe this contention. So here is Don Lemon explaining on Uprocks that he is not a biased reporter. He's just speaking his truth, which is the definition of bias. Okay, once you say it's my truth and not the truth, then you are no longer an objective news reporter. You're an opinion person. And my truth is your subjective perception of the world. The truth is an objectively verifiable description of a situation. Here is Don Lemon conflating the two and then claiming that he's an objective news reporter.
My role as a journalist is to speak from my truth and from my lens and from where I come from. And I don't think those things are biases. I am a black man who grew up and who lives and survives and works in America. I have a certain perspective and a certain point of view, and I'm bringing that important part of the diverse culture of this company to the fore, and I should be. And so the people who don't want to hear that, who don't want to hear my truth, will say to you that I am biased. I'm not biased. This is my truth as a black man in America.
He's not biased, guys. He's not biased at all. This is just his truth, which is bias, the definition of bias. It's pretty incredible stuff, right? The media's masks, they're all coming off, and they don't even understand the masks are slipping, right? They keep going, why are we losing credibility? Because you keep promulgating narratives that are not true about the state of the United States because they are, quote unquote, your truths. And politicians pick up on this, by the way, right? Politicians pick up on all of this, and then they run with it. Like Bill de Blasio has picked up on this, and he's running with it. So people are getting shot like every single day in New York. They're seeing a vast uptick in the murder rate in New York City. I believe last I checked, 100% of all people shot in New York City over the course of the last month are people of color. Nearly all of them are black. That is not something Bill de Blasio will talk about. Instead, Bill de Blasio will simply say that it's time to paint giant murals that say Black Lives Matter in front of Trump Tower on Fifth Avenue. And what will the media cover? Will the media cover this stuff? No, the media won't cover the shootings, really. They'll cover it, but kind of tangentially. There's a headline yesterday, I believe it was from the AP, talking about it's puzzling why the shootings have increased. I think they used the word mysterious to describe why the shootings have increased. Get the Scooby van, guys. Who the hell knows? Get the mystery machine. We got to get Shaggy on the case. Right? Who could figure it out? Why would there be more shootings when you're trying to defund the police, you idiots? And when you're focusing on painting giant yellow signs that say Black Lives Matter in front of Trump Tower, ooh, we showed Trump, orange man bad, problem solved. And so Bill de Blasio, here he was painting BLM in front of a Trump Tower. He said, this is an example of action we can take for black Americans. Wow, America's a better place today because you painted some letters on a sidewalk. Boom, done, magical. Wow. The great irony is going to be, and the great horrible irony is going to be when a person of color gets shot and dies on the logo that says Black Lives Matter outside Trump Tower, because that's what's going to happen in New York City eventually, right? I mean, that is the symbol of Bill de Blasio's mayoralty, is a giant strip painting that says Black Lives Matter, and then people of color dying on it after being shot in his city. Okay, because that's what's actually going on in his city. Here's Bill de Blasio talking about all the wonderful things he's done for black people, like putting paint on a sidewalk. I mean, like, great work there, Commie Bill.
It was such an important message. The people of this city believe Black Lives Matter, and we wanted to send that message to our whole city, but to our whole nation. And it can't just be words, Wolf. It has to be actions. So we're taking resources from our police department and putting it into youth programs. We're acknowledging institutional racism and coming up with specific plans to tear it down. We need to take this transcendent moment and get the most out of it.
Oh, man, transcendent moment. Paint some stuff. Let's paint peace murals. We've done it. Bill de Blasio. Wow. Wow. I mean, he's really committed to this thing. It's incredible. Really, really great. And by the way, then Trump came out and he was like, this mural is stupid, and Black Lives Matter means more than just the slogan. The organization is really radical. And de Blasio's like, well, now I've trolled you. I've trolled you successfully. It's pure racism for Trump to oppose the mural. Okay. Meanwhile, I'm just going to point out, 2 nights ago, 5 people in his city were shot and 1 person died. That was 2 nights ago. I don't know the updates from last night because the reporting hasn't come out yet. I'm sure more people were shot last night because that is the way that this is all working. Bill de Blasio, by the way, he also says that in the middle of a pandemic, he says he's not going to allow any large gatherings except for BLM gatherings. I'm not kidding. It's this thing he said. This is purely unconstitutional, by the way. You cannot do this. You cannot say only one type of protest is so important and so legit that they get to hold it. Right? That's not the way the First Amendment works in the United States. Here's Bill de Blasio, Commie Bill, explaining.
Things that here in this city can mean not just thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people. It's just not time for that now.
What about protests? If people want to march down Fifth Avenue, are they going to be allowed to do so?
Look, Wolf, this is always an area of real sensitivity. If you're just talking about health, we would always say, hey, folks, stay home if you can. But we understand at this moment in history, people are talking about the need for historic changes. I mean, today in New York City, recognizing the power and the meaning of the message Black Lives Matter, which we did in front of Trump Tower today.
So basically, Blitzer asked him, so you're going to allow these protests? He's like, oh, maybe, kind of. He just said no large gatherings. Shut down those Hasidic Jews with their praying. But Black Lives Matter, absolutely, guys. I mean, this is just such an important moment. It's such an important moment. By the way, this giant important moment has not prevented people from shooting each other en masse in his city. The New York Police Department is now begging cops to delay retiring. So cops are like, I'm not sticking around for this. Are you crazy? Why would I possibly stick around for this? I've got the city that will prosecute me for defending myself. I've got a city that will not allow me to do my work with local communities trying to protect innocent citizens. You think I'm sticking around for this bull crap? According to a report by the New York Post, 503 cops in New York City have filed for retirement since May 25th. That was the day that George Floyd was killed. Okay, that is a 75% increase, a near doubling over the same period in 2019. The past week, 179 cops filed for retirement in 1 week compared to 35 in 2019, a 411% increase. So the city is now begging people not to leave. So Bill de Blasio, the mayor of New York, controls the NYPD. Bill de Blasio, what has he been relegated to? At the same time, people are shooting each other en masse in his city, and he's painting murals on the sidewalk. Here was Bill de Blasio's answer to how do you stop violence? He's begging people, please stop killing each other. I'm sure it's going to go great, Bill. I'm sure. Again, there are not enough slow claps on planet Earth to provide for this idiot, giant weirdo.
You can't just do it with police. You need community leaders, clergy, community organizations to come together. We're having a particular issue in Harlem, and we've gathered community leaders from all over Harlem who, in common cause this weekend, are going to be out there with the police, shoulder to shoulder, saying we're not going to allow this violence in our community. The second piece is to get our court system up and running. It's been at a very low speed. The criminal justice system in this state is not fully functioning, and that's creating a lot of problems. Even when police arrest someone, the consequences aren't there.
Oh, you mean like how your plan was to release everybody without bail? Like that plan? Where you're taking career criminals, arresting them, and just releasing them without bail because bail is racist or something? This guy. But the media continue to promulgate the narrative that Bill de Blasio is like a racial justice warrior while black people are getting shot en masse in his city. It's unbelievable. It truly is incredible. So listen, politicians respond to incentive structures. The media have created an incentive structure. The media incentive structure is you repeat the narrative that we want you to repeat, and we will bless you. We will bless you top down. You will always receive our love. And if you cross us, we will break you on the wheel of fire. If you're Ron DeSantis or Greg Abbott, if you're Doug Ducey in Arizona, we'll break you on the wheel of fire. But if you're Bill de Blasio, you can basically let a virus kill everyone in your city. And then the ones who are left, you can let them shoot each other. And everyone, and you know what? As long as you paint a mural, everything's good. Everything's perfectly good. The media create the incentive structure, guys. And that's why it kind of matters when the media suck at their jobs, royally suck at their jobs. And by the way, continue to promote a cancel culture that expediently exempts those who are allied with it. This video is sponsored by Blinksale. It is the revolutionary invoicing software for small businesses. Spend less time billing, more time making the money with Blinksale. Go down to the link in our description and give it a click.